Hello everyone, welcome to Ravi Reads interview series like part of Other Journey. Today I am proudly introducing Kirti Changlani, who is author of three books like A Life Lesson Ordinary, The Search for Belonging, and the third one Where the Moon Meets the Sun. And also she is like multi-potentialite, like she came from journalism background and also she honored like she like received multiple awards like top 100 debut novels in India literature like best fiction authors 2021 and many. So hello, Kirti. Welcome to Ravi's Other Journey interview series.
Thank you so
Uh,
much.
Thank you. To begin with, can you share a bit about your background? What inspired you to deliver into the world of poetry?
So usually I like to define myself as a simple person. I am a simple, normal person, but these are just my interests that I am trying to pursue in the field of writing. So just because I wanted to pursue a career in writing, I chose journalism and then I studied literature. And I have been into the field of copywriting presently, but
Okay.
for my books, yeah. So I started writing from the age of 15, but it was like just for myself. Just I used to keep it to myself. But then my first published poetry was when I was 18 in an anthology book. So it was on my mother, and everyone in my
Mm.
family got so happy to see that just one short paragraph. But it was like it lit up everyone's face. So after that, I followed this and I wrote my short novella, A Lifeless Ordinary, followed by The Search for Belonging. Those two were novellas, and
Mhm.
that was in my teenage. So now, after a gap of few years, I have published my poetry book, Where the Moon Meets the Sun, and this book is more on self-love and other things.
Kirti, I can't hear you.
You heard my
Yes,
answer?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Where the moon meets the sun is captative title. What does signify, and how does it capture the essence of your poetry collection?
Honestly, I was not going to keep this title, Where the Moon Meets the Sun. It was I was planning to title it Silent Screams of Heart.
Oh.
Basically, we have so much in our heart we want to convey, but we just let it all go. So because of that, I was going to keep it Silent Screams of Heart. But eventually, as the book progressed, as I was as moving towards the last pages of the book, I saw that the recurring themes that were there in this book, it showed more of the bipolarity of, like, there is like light and there is darkness.
Yeah.
What are the best symbols to convey that? There is the moon and there is sun. So where the moon meets the sun, so like that. Yeah.
I can relate like how you come up with the title and then how it's quite natural when our initial draft of the title was different, like the end product title could be different. I can relate like in fact,
Yeah.
poetry often reflects personal experiences and emotions. How much of your own life feelings are woven into the poem of this collection.
So actually, I started writing. These are collected poems over my teenage years, over
Mhm.
recent years. So uh, usually, I write a poem in a like a spit of a moment. Like I get the inspiration, I take the inspired action, I type it in my phone notes, something somewhere, and like that only it happens. So yeah.
Can you describe the themes or emotions that readers can expect to encounter in your poetry book, with the latest poetry book, with the moons meets the sun?
So the themes people can expect will be, you can see from the back blurb of my book, it will be like self-love or healing or resilience. But we don't really see the negative side of life. We just want to see the positive side of our life. So like if we want to convey how we should believe in ourselves, then it is point A to point B. So we go through a place where people don't believe in us. Then we eventually start figuring it out. We start motivating ourselves, and then there is self-belief. So we can see a lot of themes, but it starts from something else, it ends with something else. Eventually people will relate to it.
What is your creative process like, while crafting poems? Do you have any specific routine or any source of inspiration for your writing?
No, just like I told you that usually hits me in a moment and I write it. But then, of course, if I have to compile all of these poems, then I sit back, take some time out and I edit it. So these are edited across a like lot of. I started editing this book in 2021. So again,
Oh my
I
God.
edited in 20. Yeah. So these are poems like 5, 6 years. So it has not been a specific. Yeah, if you ask me about writing a novella, so it requires a lot of dedicated effort, time, like 2, 3 months of continuous writing it. But these poems have been across a span of many years. So it just required me like 2, 3 months of continuously sitting to edit it. Yeah.
Poetry has a unique way of connecting with the readers with and emotional levels. How do you hope your readers will feel, or that impact your poetry to have on them? How do you personalize how it connect?
The best thing my poetry will impact the readers with is like creating self acceptance. We have so many emotions in our life. We have negative
Yes.
emotions, positive emotions, but then we can accept all of them. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I accept this. So this will evoke self love in people, and because I think we lack it somewhere, we are not loving ourselves. We just want external things and all of that. We definitely get it, and it's not like being spiritual or materialistic. We should be both, but there should be a balance. We should love ourselves enough
Yes.
first. So I think this poetry will definitely create short impact on people. At least start by yourself, start by loving yourself, and then you can achieve things in life.
Are there any specific poets or authors, writers who influenced your style, or like who have influenced your style or approach in the poetry, the world of poetry?
Not specifically. I read a lot of poems, but like as I study literature, so I found there were a lot of literary geniuses like Shakespeare and everything.
Yeah.
But, their poems are like quite in English. People may not necessarily relate to it. So I've read a lot of poets, but I usually write in my own style. Like at present, if you open Instagram and if you search poetry, so you will find a specific type of poetry, which is something I have used in my book as well. You can see like it's a four-liner short poem, so which people can easily read. Easily, they don't have to sit back for long hours and read a big 80 something ऐसे कुछ नहीं है. It's like a short poem, so people will be able to understand it more. Yeah.
The cover of your book is often readers notice. Can you share the story behind the cover design? How it relates the content of your poetry?
So in my book there is a poem which says these are not poems, these are the butterflies of my heart. So you can see on the
That's
cover
nice.
it says there is a woman and there these are butterflies, and there is the orange one is the sun and this is moon.
Okay.
So
This
yeah,
much
so
thought process in that cover, like that's interesting.
there's a lot of conceptualization which went behind it, and publisher was initially giving me something else, only horror theme. I told them I don't want it. I went like there was a lot of discussion, communication. After that only we could come up with it. So there is a lot of effort which goes behind the cover design as well, not just for the interior internal matter. So yeah.
And do you have any favorite poem from the collection? And if so, what makes it special? I will be very happy if you read for my readers.
Sure, definitely. um I'll read it. There are a lot of poems in my book. Actually, I love all of them. So I am like finding it difficult to find which one to read. Okay, so this one is my favorite poem. So this is it goes like this. Life is one strange conundrum no one could ever decode. In that moment, you laughed jovially. In some faraway land, someone cried painfully. At one street, a family mourned a death, and on another corner, a family celebrated a newborn's birth. In that hospital, a mother cried tears of joy as she watched her newborn breathe after long hours of labor, and another one took her last breath as her children wailed in pain. As you celebrate life to the fullest, you forget the same day, in some corner of the world, someone ended their life. Maybe that could be the end. But how then can we experience a new life without leaving this one? The polarity of emotions, the absurdity of existence is not yours to figure. You just have to breathe to be in here.
Wonderful. That's interesting. I can understand like how deep your poems are. Like, are there any recurring modifications or symbols in your poetry that holds particular significance to you?
Usually, as I told you earlier on, it's mostly about self-acceptance. So it holds a lot of importance to me. But then I try and take on social issues as well. So I have conveyed a little on social issues in my poems as well, as that's something people also have in their heart, but they usually don't convey. So
Mhm.
yeah, so it holds a lot of importance to me, not just for my poetry book, but for any story I would write.
Okay, in the process of creating Where the Moon Meets the Sun, did you discover anything new about yourself, or did you discover anything new about your writing style?
Yeah, so as I told you, I've been editing this book since 2021. So I know across the years I have collected these poems. So as I have to sit down and edit it, it takes a lot of patience.
Yes.
So I discovered that I do have some share of patience, but otherwise I used to think that I'm quite short tempered. But then I discovered that I have patience in me. So yes.
Okay. For aspiring poets, what advice you give them based on your writing journey in the world of poetry? I think last three books are into like poetry genre, right? Except the first one, anthology.
No, no, anthology was very different. It was somebody else's book. But
No.
my last two books have been novella, and
Okay.
this one is poetry collection. So this is
Okay.
my first. Yeah. So I would say usually one thing: be yourself, follow your the way you want to write. In my second book, I made a mistake. I actually tried writing in a way that people would rather like. So I tried changing a lot about my writing style and everything, which some people liked and some people did not like. So I would say be yourself. One second.
Yeah.
One second. Yes.
Okay. Can you share any upcoming projects or plans related to your poetry that readers can look forward in future?
At present, so this is something I have wrote, but I do have some projects in mind, and will definitely work on them soon. You can expect my short story collection, is what I would say, soon.
Okay, probably you can connect. You can order your book, "The Way the Moon Meets the Sun" in like I will share the link in the video comment section. Probably you can grab it, and also I will share her Instagram handle and other things so that you can follow her writing journey. And thank you, Kirti Changlani. It was really nice speaking with you.
So much. Bye.